All right, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Feel free to reach out anytime, give me a call. I've linked my playlist in the description. I'm at the Home Depot right now. I recently picked up some heirloom seeds, the kind that you can replant later. So I wanted to go over a couple of things. What happened earlier today, I did a YouTube live broadcast and it went away on me. I don't know why. I'm going to try and reload it when I get home. I'm at the Gator Hole Plaza here in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I wanted to show you a little bit of what it looks like here. In some of the areas, we cannot just walk right into the store the way we used to, and there's restricted hours. So I'm going to flip this around and just show you a little bit of what that looks like here. And the Walmart is nearby too. Walmart took all their seeds off the floor. Some areas in the country you can't buy seeds. They're restricting that. They've roped off garden centers so that you can't even buy shovels, evidently in Minnesota. Part of what's happening too is that there's everything is being track traced database to get the artificial intelligence is measuring all the data that it can. What our response is, what we're talking about, what will we tolerate and not. What does that look like? Some of the most disturbing video I've ever seen, I've recently added to the top of my research library playlist that's linked in the description. As far as what I have to say is do your research. I've compiled a lot of evidence on my channel to show you that we're in a battle right now for the hearts, souls, and minds of humanity, and many people are going to die in this. Every day, about 250,000 people die. What's going to be happening now, though, is that there's disruption in the distribution of goods, foods, and supplies. So people aren't going to be able to get what they would normally be able to get when they go shopping, like food. They're cutting off the supply chain. So we've got farmers that are going out of business because they can't get their product to the market that's been disrupted. And then we've got shelves that are largely much emptier. Right here you can see they've got a system of yellow tape and guardrails to guide people in the store. And that's part of what's going on. But what I had mentioned as so disturbing would be the DARPA nanotechnology, the robotics and the artificial intelligence that has been pioneered to enslave humanity and actually reduce much of humanity. So right here at the garden center, they're selling everything off. It's a caged area, could be a holding area. Right now, the hours for Walmart shopping are from 6 in the morning for the seniors and then to 8:30 at night. And one of the things that I talked about earlier was that I came here during senior shopping hour, not knowing that had been implemented. And I got here in the parking lot and I got very dizzy. And then I found out that it was seniors only, so I drove away. And then the dizziness went away. Those are all new lights, new technology, and a whole lot of cameras up there. As we know, we've been cameraed up for a long time, all our cell phones and that, but they have now discontinued the ability for people to park overnight in a Walmart parking lot, and that basically severed the chain of economy car camping all around. I've done it. I know what it's like. So that's been stopped. And that makes everybody a whole lot easier to monitor. And so that's part of what's going on. All of this is basically a kill grid that we're in. Many of you are aware of the weather modification, Weather Wars 101. Some call it chemtrails. It's way more than modifying the weather. It's modifying the people, modifying the genome. You might want to go to one of my YouTube, go to a YouTube search on my channel, #Borax, and you're going to find that boron mitigates some of the self-replicating monofilament nanoparticles that are integrated in our body. When we breathe it in and swallow it, and it goes and hits the hydrochloric acid in our stomach, it has electrical multiplying properties within our body. I know that sounds weird. Well, it is. It is weird, and it's what's happening. It's what's for dinner. How about that? So DARPA has the technology. It's called a hydrogel, and it's not people friendly. It's an integration of the humanity and the technology. I believe it's more advanced than the neural link that Elon Musk is talking about. Just so you know, Elon Musk got billions of dollars for supplying the International Space Station. How about that? I could probably do that with the pickup truck because it ain't up in space. That's all science fiction. So when you look at some of the black budget cash cows that are inundating humanity, NASA implements one of them, and they're one of the largest users of technology, artificial intelligence technology. AI, artificial intelligence, has administrative access to the entire internet, which includes the creation and distribution of electricity. Just so you know, what's going on with that is AI can interrupt the flow of information and electricity. Imagine New York City without electricity for everybody. But the also a disturbing component of this is that the network of cellular 5G and that type of technology, the mystery electronic devices by the subway stations and that in New York, they can still be supplied. There's a different network for that. A lot of the cell towers have a hardened structure that's built out of the very technology I've mentioned, the steel reinforced insulated concrete panel that can withstand 300-mile-an-hour winds, wildfires, hurricanes, and earthquakes, and ballistics. You could throw a firebomb on it and it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to damage that. You can't shoot through it with bullets, conventional bullets, or even .50 caliber. The reason why that's important is because the supply of that technology, electricity to that technology, can continue to stupefy humanity. That's part of what's going on with gang stalking and targeted individuals, is that there's a technology that activates those nanoparticles in our bodies. I believe I have less of them because I've been bathing in the highly purified, carbon filtered, and yes, solar activated water. I bathe in it. I've got a reverse osmosis system that I fill up 5-gallon jugs, heat up 1/3 of my bath water on the stove in stainless. It draws toxins out of the body. I may gain or lose 7 to 10 pounds in a shower, depending on what level of hydration I was in. So one of the reasons why I mention that is because it can make a big difference in the level of health and being kind of unplugged from some of this technology. Not all of it, some of it. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? It depends on temperature. The temperature variant drives the water cycle of the world and changes the volume and density of the water. Just one of those things to consider. Water seeking its level drives hydroelectric power plants, and yes, the earth is not moving. It's never been proven. The reason why this matters is the truth matters, and it's evidence. If somebody believes they live on a spinning water ball hurling through space, they're deceived about that. If they believe they should be born again, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't determine who God's children are or who's going to believe or not believe. I'm not responsible for what other people think, say, believe, or do. I'm simply responsible for my obedience to share God's word and God's word to the ends of the earth around the clock and expose the reality of what we're living in right now, the end of days. The artificial intelligence is more like the Terminator. I'll be back. Keep that in mind. AI is not people friendly, has no problem reducing a lot of humanity. And that's going to be happening. When I thought I was born again in 1982, I discovered the book of Revelation and the Mark of the Beast system in Revelation 13. And I believed it was real and true, and it's all around us now. Could become mandatory anytime now. Like I mentioned, the supply chains are going down for everything. If you need brakes, get your rotors, get your pads, have them on the shelf for whenever you can put them on, because you might not be able to get them. You might want to have plenty of good, healthy, nutritious food if you can, and then also to get some seeds if you're able. Heirloom seeds mean you can keep replanting them. Why does that? It matters because there's going to be a lot of people starving. And then you might want to think about some ways to protect your family. And you can look at that. I'm going to probably be adding some of those things to my channel. 22 long rifles, pretty reasonable. And an MP, Smith & Wesson MP 1522 is a nice way to harvest some food from the environment, like rabbits and that type of thing too, and maybe a very practical way of protecting your family. Some things to keep in mind with what's happening right now. Just to mention, I don't believe that there's an airborne contaminant that I need to be concerned with. That's why I'm not wearing a mask. I don't want to rebreathe the spent breath that I've exhaled, and so that can contribute. The lower oxygen level can contribute to some problems in our physiology. We need to have plenty of oxygen. Water is liquid oxygen and hydrogen. And by the way, the earth isn't moving. There would be no level anywhere ever on a spinning water ball hurling through space. I gotta say, I'm fed up with people saying, oh, you don't believe the earth, we've got all the evidence of a globe. That's a lie. I've had people say, I was right with you until you got to the flat earth. Well, it's not really flat. We've got elevation above and below sea level over 5 miles. There you go. The supposed movement of the earth has never been proven. The reason why I say all this is it's a very divisive, polarizing issue. By nature, the truth is divisive. The truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular, and it's not an opinion. It's the reality of the situation, whatever it is. So, is what you believe true? Is what I believe true? So one of the other things that I would bring to your attention is everything we believe true? By nature, what we believe to be true. It's kind of the way it works. With confirmation bias, a lot of people are eager to find out whatever they can look at to reject whatever the messenger is carrying. Oh, so I'm a Bible-believing, born-again Christ follower? Absolutely. I have a passion, purpose, an eternal perspective, and the power to do what I previously couldn't do. There's plenty of evidence that the Bible is true. Okay, so I'm going to throw that out there right away and say, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. Jesus says to everybody forever that he is the way, the truth, and the life. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So I believe, extrapolating from that God's grace is required to love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So there you go. Jesus also is known as the living word, the living water, the great I am, the Alpha and Omega, knowing the end from the beginning. Attributes he has: he's all-knowing and all-powerful, meaning he knows the end from the beginning. And there's nothing in this world that's going to happen that he either does not cause or allow. That's a bit challenging for people to consider, because there's evil in this world and he allows it. So I believe he knows what's best. So thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. Feel free to call me anytime. And what I want you to consider too is that autonomous vehicles, that Tesla vehicles, I believe, can be called home. ET phone home. Hey, those vehicles can be self-driven home or disabled. Just like OnStar computers in vehicles can disable a vehicle so that it can't drive. What we're living in is a very interesting time in human history. I'm the digital version of the long-bearded guy saying the end is near and ringing a bell. What I've got is a digital research library that I've compiled to share to the ends of the earth around the clock the reality of the world that we live in for anybody who's interested in exploring that. So there you go. I hope you enjoy the ride. I encourage everybody to get your house in order, because we can't stop AI. We can't stop biblical prophecy. We can simply examine ourselves and make sure that we're truly in the faith. Do you have the upgrade yet? As in the Holy Spirit, the creator of this world, takes up residence in his children at some point in the human experience. That happened to me in 2014, and I'm very grateful for that. So that's why I'm passionate about exposing the reality of the situation. So there you go. How about that? So this is Robert Forsch with The Truth. Feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you so much.